Got 2 minutes.
You're live. Hello. Here we are.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
I think we're live now. There we are. Hi. Anybody out there? Anybody see us?
Sound check. Check, check, check.
Oh, it says we're live now. Imagine that. I think I got that. You're live. Yay! Can you hear us? Do we sound okay? We never know because we don't know.
I was going to say, get
So
it back
weird.
to the live screen.
Yeah. Back to the live screen. Yes, yay, we can hear us. Good, good. Hope there's no echo. I think I got rid of that last week, so there shouldn't be. So we're just about ready to go live here. We just went on just a little earlier to have a sound check.
Say, going live? We are live.
We're live. Hi. Hi, David. Hi, Vita. No echo. Good. Good. We're good. Well, that was fun. So, no. Well, I guess it is 8 o'clock now, so we are officially live. I'd like to welcome everybody that is here so far, all one or two of you. Hi, and us.
You always say that.
I know. It is a Friday evening from...
No, it's Saturday.
It's Saturday. I never know what day it is. It's really sad. We are in Kenly, North Carolina at the Petro for the evening and for the weekend. We have a load that picks up on Monday near here, not too far away. And hi, Larry. We are having fun. We had a good time this evening. We actually got to meet up with, 4 other teams?
4 other teams that all used to drive for the same carrier we do, but now we all drive for different carriers.
Yeah, folks that we have known forever. Literally, there's one team here that we have known before we started driving.
Yeah, and actually, they were our mentors.
Yeah, they were a very great influence on us when we first got started. Yes, and so it was really fun to catch up with them. We actually went in and sat down and ate with them for about an hour or so, and then there's another team that showed up, and then another team, and a team we met on the way in that we all knew, so it's pretty cool. We actually have company for the weekend, which doesn't happen too often anymore. It felt like old times, you said.
Yes, it did. It was just like we were complaining before that we never meet up with everybody anymore. It just so happened it was just so weird because we were walking, we had put laundry in, and we ran in to get your chili from Wendy's.
Yes.
And we came back through, and the first team walked right through, and I told Jim, I said, look who's here. And we very rarely get to see them because they're never in the same freight lane as we are.
The last time we had saw them was at the Expediter Expo back in the summer in Fort Wayne. So they drive for Landstar. There's another team here that drives for Panther. Another team that drives for a couple of they're in tractor and trailers, and I don't know who they drive for. And then,
can't remember.
Yeah, so it's just like we all used to drive for FedEx Custom Critical many years ago, and we're the only ones left. It's like we're the only ones left standing. So we're the survivors, and that's us. So, let's see here. Kim and Jim, hi, how you doing? And McCanning, yes, you caught the live. We're here. You caught us. And Larry, yes, you're very welcome. Thank you for friending us. We got friended on Facebook by some folks today. That's pretty cool. Hi, Jeff.
Hey Jeff, say hi to Denise for us too.
This year's expo, we haven't decided yet. I would like to go. It just really depends on how we're doing. And
last year it was one of those, we went to the expo last year and then Freight just decided, to just go crazy on us.
We were doing really well. We had probably our best start to the year we've ever had, and then we went to the expo, took a couple of days off, and then it never recovered. We've been
not
slow
that
ever
we're
since.
Superstitious, because we're not.
So maybe if we go back this year, it'll pick back up.
Way up. That sounds like
the Expedite Expo this year, they're having it in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and
which is really close to home for us.
Yeah, if you have never attended one or don't even know what that is, it is basically a truck show that's put on by Expeditors Online, their website. Very good source of information for anybody that wants to know more about what we do, and even the people in the vans and the folks that drive the big trucks. It's all sort of concerned with that for expediting.
And we like to go just because we get to meet up with people.
Yeah, it's a really neat thing to go to. So.
Oh, she's sitting next to you.
They can't cover for the porta potty. Can she make one for us? I mean, obviously. So we don't know.
And knowing Denise, it'll be nice and pretty.
Yes. We hope to be at the expo, I guess. It would be nice. Enter your fund. Yeah. Well, fortunately for us, they have always had the expos. They used to be down in Wilmington, Ohio. And then they moved it to Lexington, and then last year they moved it to Fort Wayne, and that's only 100 miles from our house, so it works out really well. But we take the trucks. A lot of us stay out in the parking lot and just sort of basically have an after party.
We did some thrift store shopping last week.
Yes,
last
we did.
year.
So it's a really neat time. It's a good time to catch up with some folks we haven't seen in a while, and there's some good info and lots of new trucks last year. I was really impressed. There was a lot of newer Expediter trucks. Gives you a chance to go through and see what's inside some of these show trucks. In fact, the folks that are here tonight that we met up with, their truck was in the show last year.
Yeah.
So, beautiful truck. Just absolutely gorgeous. So, yeah.
And some friends out in the parking lot. You can kind of go around and talk to people you meet. And
yeah, people are very,
take
very
a look inside their trucks
open,
too.
And you can talk to folks, and it's a really good time.
And you learn a lot about the business too while you're there too. You get a chat with each other, with people.
Yeah, good food, good times, good fun. I feel like we should be paid. I'll contact
for advertising.
So I don't know. Yeah.
So well, we were just talking about Matt's is coming up too.
Yeah, the Mid-American Truck Show, which is held down in Louisville, is the largest truck show in the country, and that is in 2 weeks.
Huge.
In fact, the person that was here tonight, she is actually presenting. Her and her husband are presenting at the truck show. They're very well known. If I mentioned their names, you'd know who they were, but I don't like to do that just simply because
we haven't asked them if it's
we
okay.
don't ask them if it's okay, and people don't really need to know where they're at. But yeah, they'll be at Matt's. They put on a presentation, very informative. They're sort of legends in the trucking industry, at least our part of the trucking industry.
Well, and for us, they're legends because
they were very helpful. They were actually. They did for us what we were attempting to do with this YouTube channel, where they helped us out. Every question we had, they always had an answer, and if they didn't know, they tried to get it. So we very, very, very appreciative of them. So it was great seeing them tonight.
We actually talked about this tonight when we got into expediting. We knew we wanted to be in a reefer truck, and we knew we wanted to do white glove and that respect. They, on the other hand, were not. They were in a dry box, and we were talking about that tonight, how that is a very different thing, even within just our carrier. A dry box versus reefer. The freight lanes are completely different, and the customers are completely different. So, as much as they helped us, we did need to, and they were very nice about putting us in touch with people who drove reefer trucks, so that we could all talk together and figure out how to do the business that way. So you guys aren't very talkative tonight.
Yeah, just wondering if we've lost our thingy. Well, maybe not. That it says there's people watching, so I don't know. So for the rest of the weekend, tomorrow we'll get up and watch our online church on the computer, and then we've got some. And
also, don't forget to spring forward tomorrow, everybody. Don't forget.
Move that time forward. We lose an hour's sleep, which I want back. So I got a couple things I want to do on the truck tomorrow. We'll do our vlog tomorrow afternoon sometime.
Yep, we're doing a business vlog tomorrow too. So and Jim alluded to that on our vlog yesterday, and I can't remember how you put it, but
I don't remember. It's the one thing that causes more problems with truckers than anything else. But we'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so we'll see you tomorrow night.
And Kim and Jim, you're just asking about what made us decide that we wanted to do reefer. Oh, Jim's going to answer that question evidently.
Yes, right here. That's why we wanted to do
$1
reefer
extra
over. No, we the people that we talked to when we first wanted to get started, most of the folks that we talked to were in a reefer truck, a white glove T-Val truck. And just by talking to different folks, the money seems to be better, and it seemed like it would be more interesting. And I think well, I don't know about that. I mean, they haul a lot more variety of freight than we ever do. Ours almost gets boring at times, but it's good. So,
hey, Florida truckers!
Hey, yeah, watching and eating priorities. Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, we were inside with two of the teams we were talking to, and Jim and I were like, oh, we got to get out there, and we grabbed some food real quick because we were doing more talking than eating.
Yeah.
I imagine that. Although it doesn't look like we do more talking than eating. I think we do it at the same time.
Yeah, the to get back to the reefer versus the surface freight truck, like I said, we just thought that the money would be better. I think it is, from what we've seen, but it's pretty cool. Where you guys be? We are in the Petro in Kenly, North Carolina, for the evening and tomorrow and Monday morning. So
we are hanging out here, and oddly enough, finding more people that were hanging out here that we didn't even know.
Yeah, that's one thing we really missed from when we first started. We actually got to hang out with folks more than we do now, so that's pretty cool. Do you guys ever haul art loads that require an escort in the truck with you?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
And they're pretty fun at times.
Yeah.
Jim we have a really, fun story.
Yeah, fun story, but I'm not going to share that. There's certain loads we just don't really like to talk about, and that's one of them. Nice. Thank you. Had to try to decide which way we would go when we start. Just say no to couriers.
Jeff!
There are certain loads that require a courier, and we have never had a problem with that, and we've had some good stories with those folks over the years, so we say yes to couriers.
Yes, we do.
But that's us.
And escorts are a little, I don't know about, Jeff, I don't know about you guys, but escorts to me are even more difficult, I think. Because it's trying to stay together, and that kind of stuff is a little bit more difficult. But when two trucks are driving with the same time,
right?
No.
What?
Two Florida truckers said they have pets, so they don't,
Yeah.
And that is one of the limitations. If you do have pets, then you usually can't have a courier.
I feel like we're sort of oddballs with YouTube channels. We're like the only YouTube channel that doesn't have pets. I know.
I have to clean up after him. Okay, I'm just kidding.
Whatever. Sold the truck. No, we have not sold the truck yet. The truck is still for sale, and we are still trying to figure out what's going on with that. We have somebody that's interested in buying the truck, but that has not been finalized yet. So as of this moment, yes, the truck is still for sale. And we did find out that the next truck has made it to Columbus and is in the process of being finished.
Yeah.
The box is going on and everything else. So we'll see.
That's two.
But that's not going to happen for probably at least, I'm still saying late April. So maybe longer. We have not done one of those in forever, and we were talking about that the other day.
One of what?
The convoy loads or whatever. Certain times when certain loads have to have more than one truck, and we have not done one of those in years.
It's been a long time.
It's been years since we've done one of those. I don't know if it just doesn't happen anymore or what.
Yeah, one of the teams we were talking to were just talking about they had just done one, and they're with another carrier.
Right. So,
and that's what made me think about it when you started talking about the couriers.
This is for you, Jeff. So anyway.
This is for any of my family that are out there listening. They're watching.
Yes. So anyway, what else were we going to talk about tonight? anything? We had topics, but then we didn't really have topics. We talked about the need to have topics to talk about.
But then we met up with people.
Never got around to actually figuring out what those topics were.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I was going to talk about a topic today. Well, it came up on one of our safety vlogs or whatever, construction.
Oh yeah.
And that means anybody out there four-wheeling or not technically four-wheeling on the highways. That probably would be a good idea for four-wheelers. But there have been a couple times this past week where the construction workers have been literally out in the middle of the road while we've been driving. So just a heads up, everybody. Just slow down through the construction zones.
Yeah. Just remember, two crazy Florida truckers, your quarterback for LSU, who we were cheering for to win the national championship this year, is a graduate of the Ohio State University. So without this, you wouldn't have what you got.
That. Without this, you wouldn't have that.
No. We were cheering for them to win the national championship, and they did. Their quarterback. We're big football folks. You probably guessed that. But yeah, Joe Burrow went to Ohio State and he left, went to LSU, and the whole state of Ohio was cheering, I think, for them to win the national championship. So that was pretty cool. So, yeah. Hey, we were cheering for him to win after we got jobbed. So, then his career. I don't know what you mean. Oops. You know, Cincinnati is an odd place. We often say that there is no professional football team in Ohio. I
don't watch it.
I hope he does well, but they really do need to recruit an offensive line to protect him, or else he is going to get mushed. So I wish him all the best. I grew up as a Bengal fan. I'm from Southern Ohio.
And I grew up as a Browns fan because I'm from Northern Ohio.
So I don't know. We'll see how that works out. I hope all the best to him and everything. He's a really bright young man. Has done a lot for his home area, and he's a pretty special kid. So I hope he does the best. Really, I don't know where else. You know, obviously. They can use all the help they can get, but hopefully he has a good career. I really do. I cheer for him.
I think and this is me. I was a sports person. There needs to be a little teamwork happening.
Yes.
And the pros it's hard for me because it doesn't always seem like they're always working as teams.
Springfield, Missouri, good area for expediters. You know, we are in Missouri a lot. Centrally located.
Yeah.
I would say yes. It's you know, and it really depends on the freight and everything. You know, it's possibly a little bit to the west for stuff, but there's so much stuff that goes back and forth to Texas out of the the Northeast and whatever. So I mean, it's not a bad area. Could be worse. Could be Idaho. Not any offense to Idaho people, but not much freight that goes out through there.
Yeah, but so. I think Missouri. I think both dry and refrigerated freight for us. I'm not sure about the other expediter group carriers, but for us, I don't think it's a bad area.
No, we when we used to run out west, we were through there all the time, going down 44. Very well traveled road for at least our carrier, and we would see other folks going through there. I'm not for sure if there's that much freight out of there, but there certainly is a lot of traffic through that area. So the best for expediter loads, it really absolutely depends on your carrier
and the type of freight you haul.
And the type of freight. If it's automotive freight, Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio, the Midwest,
Texas,
Illinois.
Going to Texas.
It just really depends with the type of freight we haul. Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, the central portions of the state. We used to do really well on the East Coast.
And again, Larry, even with just our carrier, it depends on whether you are doing dry freight or refrigerated freight.
Yeah, with FedEx, if you're talking about T-Val White Glove, exactly what two crazy Florida truckers said. East of 40 or east of the Mississippi and north of 40. That's where the vast majority, I would say, of the freight is, and even more so recently. Yes, T-Bell White Glove.
White Glove, yeah.
Yeah, the Midwest, and to some extent the East. It used to be more in the East.
We just have been get stuck in the East, so we have bad taste in our mouth for the East. But
Yeah.
you know, it is what it is. I think
There is some loads that come out of Florida, not so much. Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, not so much. Texas and Louisiana are sort of odd. There is freight, but it's heavy. It's usually hazmat. And then pretty much north of there, all the way up to Minnesota and east is all basically freight. Huh. Well, that might stink. That sound you heard was the notification from Verizon saying that I don't have much data left. So we may end up here real soon. Yeah, we're from the east and have a bad taste from it. Yeah. So you know what it is. Yeah, traffic and I don't know. The freight's not too bad really. So.
I don't know. We've been down here in North Carolina a couple times in the past 3 weeks, which we don't. We haven't been down here that often. We'd love to come down here, but we ran into freight. It was a hit and miss, I guess, and we were just never sure what was going on down here. There's been good loads coming out of here, and then it dried up for a little bit, and now just different customers. I'm hoping they've gotten and. What is weird, because we don't actually talk about this, but like with Custom Critical, they are salespeople. And down in this area at one point in time, the sales guy had actually moved on.
Right.
And they didn't have anybody down here for a while. So that affects freight sometimes too, where we don't even consider that kind of stuff.
All right, you guys, be careful. Switch your drivers out. Get on the way. Obviously, you guys are rolling. That's great. Thank you for joining us. Talk to you soon. Very much in or out of Tennessee for T-Val. Yes.
Yes.
Good area.
Good area.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yes. Thank you. Hey, yeah, if you guys would, if you're here and you don't have anything else to do, hit the little thumbs up button.
Or ring that notification.
Yeah, subscribe if you haven't.
Yeah.
So.
Oh dear. I'm trying to think of what else we were going to talk about today, because
I don't know.
We're being boring.
We are being boring. I don't know. Our phones are up. Oh, I was going to say something about our data. We actually did get our good internet reconnected, but unfortunately it's not good here, so I'm actually using my phone tonight for internet connectivity, and I'm sort of low on data. So if this grinds to a screeching halt, you'll know what happened. On my phone ran out of data. We should be good, honestly, for another half hour or so, and then it'll reset tomorrow night.
Yeah,
so.
And Jim, we have never had two separate phones for the business and for we just use our own.
We do have two phones. Judy and I both have a cell phone, and we have one number that's assigned for if FedEx needs to call us. That's the number that we'll call. But
they always have my number as backup.
Yeah.
So your number is the primary and mine's.
I don't really see a need for having just one for your business. And when it comes to taxes, which we're not giving tax advice, when it comes to that, we deduct a portion of our bill that we feel is useful for that to take off our cell phone bill. I think it's like, I want to say it's 40%. We have 5 lines on ours. Our children and us share phone lines, and so 2 of the 5 are ours, and we mainly use ours for business. Pretty much. The freight during White Glove. Well, to answer your question, Mike, we don't have to, but a lot of times we choose to.
Yes.
Because I really don't want fork trucks on my truck if I can help it. It's sort of hard with only being a single axle truck. I would rather just prefer that they stay out of my truck. And honestly, for what we haul, I think this week the heaviest load we hauled this week were 2 pallets that weighed 1,600 pounds. And everything else, the lightest one was literally a box about, toaster size, and weighed a pound. And everything else,
I don't even think it weighed a pound. It was literally a cardboard box with probably something in it about that big.
And the other 3 loads were like 1 pallet, 150 pounds. So normally what I'll do is I'll even volunteer to grab a pallet jack and tell them I'll put it on the truck, or if they do, a lot of times they'll use hand pallet jacks, or even the electric, pallet jacks are pretty decent, but I try to keep them out of the truck.
Yeah, but we do, and not everybody does. We always
exactly, Jeff.
are on. We usually go out on the dock, and there are some customers that won't allow us on the dock.
Yeah.
And some drivers never hit the dock, but we generally, as a rule of thumb, we always wanted to be on the dock watching the freight being loaded.
Right.
That's us personally.
Let's see. Expeditors works the same as us for general freight drivers. I mean, it's based in supply and demand. You guys all play about the same since you carry specialized freight. It's really weird. We don't really.
We don't have lanes per se.
We don't really have lanes per se.
Yeah.
A lot of times, there'll be repeat customers, but a lot of times it's like a one-off load, where it's just someone needs something moved, and so it really depends on the customers. They have what I would call regular customers, and they get discounts, so that freight doesn't pay as well. But then if someone needs something moved, they pay top dollar, and those loads usually pay pretty well. The freight varies over a wide range of what it pays, and even a load that we hauled this week may not pay the same next week, even though it's the same pickup, same location, because a lot of times it's based on the actual customer.
Yeah, because we do a lot of warehouses.
A lot of warehousing,
So-
and so the customers can actually be different, even though we're picking up and delivering the same place. And
But
there's
the customer isn't actually the warehouse. The customer is out there
right,
somewhere.
it's a third
ordering.
party,
Yeah.
and a lot of times, we have seen it vary by as much $1 a mile from one week to the next, what it comes out at. So yeah. Just say no, Jeff. That's right. I do not want the fork trucks on my truck. It's hard to do sometimes, but we try to keep them off as much as we can.
We had friends of ours who actually have a locked load bar in the
Yeah.
back of their truck, so somebody can't drive on with a fork truck.
Yep.
Which is, it's just different. It's protecting your own truck.
You're welcome. Thank you. And it's hard for us to say stuff because, it is so different from driving a regular tractor trailer freight, truckload freight, even LTL
Or even
freight.
straight truck freight.
Because we only have one customer on the truck at a time. It's dedicated. And so, it's not like we're dealing with hundreds of different customers like LTE or LTL does, or even truckload. So it's really billed differently, and so those.
And that is the biggest difference, that we only have one customer on our truck at a time.
Yeah,
and
like
that's what we specialize in.
That box that we were talking about, 1 piece, 1 pound. That was all we hauled.
It was
hauled
refrigerated.
That from New
it was
Jersey.
5 degrees.
That was from Massachusetts.
Yeah, Massachusetts.
Massachusetts and North Carolina. 1 box, 1 pound on our truck, and paid well over $2 a mile.
And how many miles was that? Over 600 and some?
Yeah, 630 some, I think.
So take one
it's
box.
just, whatever.
But it had to be at
sometimes
5
it's
degrees
just-
Celsius.
Right, it was refrigerated. But, they paid for the exclusive use of our truck for that one piece. And so when they pay for the truck, it could be 1 piece or it could be 10 pallets. It just depends on what the customer has to show.
Yeah. And one of those things that I would have never thought about if we weren't driving, but that one little box, you have to put in the back and secure it. You cannot carry it up front, even though it's just a box.
Okay, Mike's asking, what distinguishes white glove from regular freight? With our carrier, and from what I understand, pretty much the other expedited carriers that do what dry freight, are what we would call surface freight. There's surface expedite, and then there's white glove. The white glove is basically may require special handling and special handling equipment. Like all of our white glove trucks have a pallet jack, a lift gate, extra pads, extra
Load
straps,
bars.
extra load bars that we are required for a white glove truck to have.
We have to have those in our truck.
And I think, I'm not going to say this is absolutely for certain, because I think there are some refrigerated trucks that are not white glove, but for the most part, 99.9%, if the load's refrigerated, it's a white glove load. And so,
and we also have to
temperature
have
control.
lift gate too.
Yeah, I said that.
Oh, did you? I said pallet jack. I wasn't sure to say what.
So, for the most part, there used to be more of a distinction. But right about now, FedEx, our carrier, basically has refrigerated and non-refrigerated, and that's more the distinction. The refrigerated, we're all the white glove T-Val trucks, temperature validated, which is another service that they provide. So that's basically the distinguishing aspect between white glove and surface freight. Not all of our loads require refrigeration. Some just require special handling. So let's just say like a piece of a computer equipment may require it to be strapped down very well, and so it doesn't move, and it may require padding. So we carry moving pads on our truck. There are sometimes when we have a dolly that you can set a crate on and roll around. So just basically more specialized handling.
And we deal with the customers probably a little more than.
Yeah, some of the customers are, let's just say, very concerned about
how their
freight is transported,
yeah.
And so you may actually at times have someone walking around in a tie on the dock, if you know what I'm talking about. And so
they may actually ask you specifically to use certain equipment to strap down things and to and to secure things the way they know it needs to be secured by
yes.
from moving from one place to the other.
And we are required for white glove. We are required. Not everybody does this, but you're required to, per your contract, is that you need to at least wear a FedEx uniform shirt and black pants and closed-toed shoes.
And dark shoes.
And basically present yourself as a little professional. I'm not saying there's anything unprofessional about the surface freight, because they do the same basically work as we do. I think the expectations for white glove are slightly higher. And
if we do a little bit of history, which I'm not sure if any of you are interested in this, but when we first started, actually a little before we first started, white glove was actually a whole process and an application and an interview.
It used to be difficult to get into.
Yeah, it used to be very difficult to get in. I shouldn't say very difficult, but you had to drive for 6 months and before you would even be considered.
Yeah, it used to be that white glove was sort of a prestigious portion of driving for our carrier, and I guess it still so is. One of the other differences, we rarely, and we did one this last week, which was unique, but we rarely haul what I would call a true expedited freight load, where the customer calls and I need this part right now, and we'd have to drop everything and run and get it and put it in our truck and hurry there. We rarely, if ever, do that. It's more specialized freight. I don't want to say really too much more about that. But we actually had a load this last week where the load came across the board. We were supposed to go pick it up within an hour. We were 62 miles away.
Yeah, and we couldn't get there in an hour.
And so it's just we just don't do that. It's one of the difference, between surface and what we do sometimes.
Larry, Twic card, we do not have one.
No, we do not have one. And for what we do, we really, I don't know. Have we ever been anywhere? Twic cards a lot of times to get into ports, and we don't do much freight out of ports.
Yeah, and I don't know as we've ever had a customer that has required that. And if they do, it's not the freight that we haul.
Right.
I guess I'm sure there's some freight that our carrier does. We just don't have it.
It wouldn't hurt, but we don't have one, and the majority of the folks that we know don't have one that do what we're doing.
Yeah.
Learn how to strap down loads and also using a pallet jack or forklift.
Okay, forklift you won't ever do.
No,
and the pallet jack's just a manual pallet jack. And I always say with the pallet jack, I tell the customers on the dock, Jim does the pallet jack because if I ever drove it,
everybody's toes would be hurting. Yes.
And you cannot, at most customers, you cannot touch their equipment to put anything on your truck.
Right. We are not allowed to touch anything other than a pallet jack. So like the electric pallet jacks, we're not allowed to touch those, and we never should use those. Definitely, the fork truck is definitely out. Most companies require you to have some type of license, an in-house license to operate the fork trucks.
Not to mention the insurance and all that kind of stuff that goes on.
There are times I would love to, because I was certified to drive a fork truck at a company I worked for a long time ago, and I know how to drive one, but I can't.
On the other hand, you don't want me driving a fork truck.
You definitely don't want her driving one. Okay, new driver learned strap. And as far as strapping down loads, it's mainly common sense, I guess. I don't. That really sounds
No,
bad.
we did. I mean, they did a video or something that they talk about it in our orientation.
I think there is sort of a guidance when you go through T-Val training, but you know, basically the things that we work with are load bars. We have E-Track, which is like a rail that runs down the entire length of our box.
We should do a video on this.
Yeah, we probably should. And there's 5 of those in our truck, and they have little notches every 2 inches, and we have load bars that fit in those, so the bar goes across the side, you know, from one side of the truck to the other, and it's braced in there. It's not going to go anywhere. So what we'll do is we'll have load bars, we'll set the freight up against that, and then we have straps. They're ratchet straps, 2-inch wide straps, and it fits on either end into the E-Track, and so we'll run that across the top or around the front to pull it into the load bars. And it's basically just, we always try to put 2 straps on just about everything we haul, or we need to have...
With DOT, what they're looking for securement is front to back and side to side.
Yeah,
you know, so you want to secure freight so that it's...
Right.
It doesn't move.
And it even applies to us, even in the box, but you're supposed to have freight secured every 10 foot. There's supposed to be a securement. So our box is 20 foot long, so it really doesn't make too much difference for us. But you can never have too many straps and too many load bars on freight. And I have had shippers look at me. Yeah, I've had shippers look at me over the years going, well, that's not going anywhere. And, well, yeah, it's not going to go anywhere. I mean, I err, I know sometimes, on the ridiculous when I strap freight in, but that's just what we do. So,
Great ratings for our straps.
The weight rating on most of your straps, whether 2-inch long or the 2-inch wide straps, and I know I will get this wrong. I'm trying to think. I know they're. I really don't know, Larry. I will have to look at that. I know it, but I can't. I'm thinking of 2 different numbers in my head, and I know I'm going to tell you the wrong one.
One's for the load bars and one's for the strap.
Yeah, it's just a standard strap. I want to say it's like a 1,300 pound working load limit on the straps, and that doesn't really sound right. But they are a 2-inch wide web strap. I could probably figure that out.
Ratchet strap. Let Jim look it up real quick.
I'll look it up. So you talk, Life.
Yeah, I know, and I was trying to think of something I was going to talk about before that. What we were talking about. We were talking about securement.
Securement. Yeah. Judy never secures the freight.
Now, oh, I know what I was going to say. We were just at a customer, and I think that was our 1,600 pound, freight that we hauled. And he had said that one of the customers had taken a picture of exactly kind of what we were hauling, and he literally had everything shrink wrapped and strapped down to the pallet, and he got a picture that the freight was like all over the place in the truck. So, just because things look like they're secure, just, we just like to double check. Jim always just moves the freight and sees how hard it was, and we both thought, boy, somebody must be driving those curves pretty fast or going through a lot of potholes or something to get the straps and the shrink wrap for the freight to be able to move like that. The only thing I could think of was maybe the strap, one of the things wasn't tight, or the load bars weren't, but literally I think they had done, not even 20 miles down the road. I'm not quite sure. And the guy on the dock says, I have no idea how that would have happened. He says, I watched them secure it, and they had a bar on it and everything. So, it's just, it's amazing what can happen to freight. And we have backed into docks where we have seen tractor and trailers or straight trucks with freight that's basically fallen off the pallet and on the floor. So,
I'm still looking.
Hi, Angie. Nice to have you on here and not on the phone. You can see me, but I can't see you.
For what I'm seeing, 1,466 working load limit on the straps. So.
Oh, the porta potty cover is done.
Well, that was fast.
Wow. Denise can work and listen at the same time.
Yeah. And our straps are we normally have a 16-foot ratchet strap that has an E-Track fitting on either end. And we do have some 20-foot straps, which come in very, very handy sometimes. We have those custom made for the 20-footers.
And for those of you who want Lodi in Ohio,
Yeah, there's a company in Ohio. It's in Belleville, Ohio. It's called Lodi Metal Products, and they make custom straps and load bars. Very good company.
yeah, because we got one custom made for our pallet jack,
Yeah.
which was nice. So it was just they made it shorter for us. And took a strap and shortened it out.
Tea.
Yeah, and you got told about your tea last week too, and you haven't changed your tab.
You notice I'm still drinking it.
Was that Jim and Kim who said that? Was that Kim who said that? I can't
Yes,
remember.
I think so.
Yeah.
So.
Who told you? Still trying to get him to get his water intake in. But
Yeah.
he's
So.
still bad about that. Oh.
I'm in pain. Ugh. So we actually there is a workout room here. There's no Planet Fitness near us. Well, there is, but I don't think we can get a truck in there very easily. So there's actually a workout room here at the truck stop, and it's very, very small. But there is a stationary bike and an elliptical machine, which are the same brand that they have at Planet Fitness. So it was just like going to Planet Fitness without all the people.
And they have universal weights too.
Yes, and we used those today, and so
I didn't use the weights today. Did you?
I used the bike. I'm a little stiff, so.
A little stiff, but no. Oh, and I was thinking about our food intake this week too. Oh, it's been horrible this weekend. We just, I don't know why I decided. My mom's birthday was this week. So I told her, I said, have some ice cream for me, which wasn't a very good thing because she's diabetic and I probably should never have said to use.
Say that.
should eat ice cream. So I decided that I was going to get ice cream and celebrate her birthday and eat ice cream.
You notice we told you about the working out first before we got to the ice cream.
Just like, we need ice cream.
Ice cream's good. So,
Yeah.
So yeah, if you guys haven't done so already, I'll just say that real quick. Go out and like the video. Give us a thumbs up. It just sort of helps out the channel a little bit.
I don't know what it does.
I don't know what it does either. It's just every other YouTuber I've ever seen says go and give us a thumbs up. So, you know.
Like, subscribe.
I'm just following along with the crowd.
Yes.
So,
oh, and we had something wonderful happen today.
We did?
And Jim's like, what do we do? We actually heard from all 3 of our children.
Yeah.
In one day.
Right.
That just never happens.
Yeah, exactly.
So we were excited about that.
Yeah, that's right. The only person that can mess up our circuit time was us.
And we had no circuit today.
Right, no circuit. But yeah, we got to hear from 3 of our children today. All 3 of our children. It was very, very fun.
Yes.
It doesn't happen too often, but thankfully we stay in contact with them, and we get to talk to them.
Oh, and I got to talk to my grandson too.
So. Oh, you did? Well, I did. I missed that.
You didn't.
So,
I did.
Yeah, so.
He was hanging out. Oh, and then, what was I going to say? I don't remember. We're being kind of boring today.
Well, and we're a little tired. You know.
I'm not tired.
Well, I'm tired. We actually had a long week this month. So, funny thing about money, it sure keeps the kids close. Yes, it does. Amazingly. So, I don't know.
Or just advice. You know, I don't know. Our kids, sometimes it's so nice to have them just call and talk to us about their day.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. That is true. Even though it's Saturday. Did you see that, folks? Documented husband abuse right there.
We do that a lot. You know, not on a good note, but we've kind of had some sad news these past couple weeks. It's not been a.
Haven't said anything about that, but it's one of the hardest things that we go through as we get older. We've had 2 of our friends from college pass away, and a friend of mine from high school passed away this week. So it's been a little difficult. You know, 3 friends that we haven't seen or really been close with in a long time. But actually, the first one was my big brother from my fraternity in college, and my roommate for a half a year. And the other one was a member of my fraternity, but he was also Judy's little brother on campus.
My little brother on campus. We had such things. We had little brothers and sisters on campus, and we had little brothers and sisters in our sorority and fraternity. So.
Right. And then the other boy was a friend of mine that I've known for a long time, and he actually lived with us for a while at our house. He was sort of without a place to stay and stayed with us for a couple months. and him and I used to haul hay and straw a long, long time ago. 30 some years ago, I had a straight truck, and we hauled hay and straw down to Lexington from northern Ohio, and he was with me all the time, and been friends with him and his whole family for many, many years, and so he passed away too. So
just kind of a
sucks
little,
getting old,
yeah,
folks.
It's just a reminder that we're not as young as we used to be. Although I still feel young. I don't know about the rest of you, but I don't feel as old as I am. And Jim and I always joke around the fact that I never know how old I am because he's always older than me, so I just ask him.
Thank you very much. We haven't really said anything about it. And it's sort of been difficult. I mean, in 3 in a week, and you know, at one point in time, I was extremely close with all of them. So yeah, it's been fun. That's scary one. I saw they mentioned in our town. Yeah, age or younger, a lot of natural causes. Yeah, these were all natural causes. 2 of them were cancer, and one of them was complications from heart disease. So yeah. Well, now that
let's going on to a different note. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to.
We have heard that our truck has made it. Our forthcoming truck has made it to Capital City Trailers in Columbus, Ohio. So that process is moving forward, probably sooner than we were expecting. I don't know. I'm still thinking, you know,
I'm still
probably
thinking.
Maybe by Christmas.
It may sound sooner than later, but I don't know. It's just one of those
So
things.
we'll probably be getting into a newer truck shortly, hopefully.
Yeah.
So I
don't
know how
know.
that'll work.
It's one of those things. It's getting in a new truck is, you know, a very huge blessing. At the same time, I'm really going to miss our truck. I have a separation.
It's become home, you know.
Problem with moving and things like that. I don't mind change, but for some reason with vehicles, I like to hold on to them.
Right. Well, we've lived in this truck for 5 years. This is sort of our home, so you know.
Yeah, I know,
Yes,
Jeff. It is.
Yes.
We were down there to get our lights fixed, and they were just trucks everywhere.
Crazy. That's crazy.
I hate driving through that parking lot because it's.
Yeah, you get to see
everywhere.
all that feature competition sitting right there. No. But yeah, there are a lot of new trucks coming on. They are swamped, and I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, I know what Randy was asking on our last vlog about what do we do when the truck stops, you know, for back here laying in bed. She was just like, you know, how do you keep yourself from flying out?
Hold
Here
on
it
for
is.
dear life.
Hang on tight.
Yeah. There is a seat belt basically that secures the bunk. Some trucks have like a webbing net that goes over you while you're sleeping, and it's always a decent idea to have one of those.
And we have just one bed, and this is,
Right.
I think I answered this when Randy asked this question, is when we're back here by ourselves, sleep towards the middle or the back of the bed, and I put a pillow up against the counter, and you know, just in case. But I also sleep with a weighted blanket, which I think helps keep me still.
Let's see. Larry's asking, is there a specific reason we went with a bolt sleeper versus other options? None really in particular. It basically had more to do with availability.
Yeah, the timing.
There's basically 3 main sleeper manufacturers. Well, 4. I'll give them 4 main sleeper manufacturers now. There is AA Sleeper based out of Fort Worth, Texas. Bolt out of Fort Wayne or New Haven, Indiana. And actually Bolt owns AA Sleeper now. And then you have ARI Sleeper, which is based out of Shipshewana, Indiana. I just like saying that, Shipshewana. But they are more of a custom higher end, I guess, sleeper. Although now they're starting to show up more on these trucks.
Yeah, they just started doing a lot of these trucks.
The newest sleeper manufacturer is Premier Sleepers out of Fort Worth. But they're the ones that are putting the sleepers on the new Western Star trucks.
Yeah, they haven't done the Freightliners.
So they don't do Freightliners, so that eliminated them. ARI is basically newer to this type of configuration. They're
They've
mainly
done
known.
tractor and trailers forever.
Beautiful sleepers. They're huge. The big 150-inch sleepers, 880-inch sleepers, 210-inch sleepers you see on some of these big show trucks.
Not ours.
But from
we want to haul some freight.
Yeah, at the moment, Double A is swamped. They have lost some people, had some personnel changes, and so they really just can't keep up with their demand. We have a Double A sleeper right now, and we're well pleased with it. You can actually customize a Double A sleeper a little bit more than you can a Bolt, but Bolts are, good sleepers, and so that's just happened to be what it is. We've had Bolt sleepers before.
Yeah. Our last truck
on the
was a Bolt sleeper.
previous truck, and we like them. So.
Yeah. I'll answer the next one.
Will you do that?
Because I'm guessing it's Kim. Probably Jim's a
well,
little
she
curious
actually
too.
asked you.
Yes. It says, do you ever get nervous going into a truck stop alone while Jim sleeps? I feel very comfortable in most truck stops. If Jim is sleeping, a lot of times we're not in a truck stop because we're usually rolling down the road. But if he's sleeping and we are rolling, I tend to just stop through the fuel aisle. It's really well lit, and I don't have to worry about parking for the other thing. And I just run in and go and come back out. I am what a lot of people would probably call naive. I grew up in the country with, our doors were never locked. Our cars were always, somebody could just jump right in and do things. I do not have... I feel safe. I don't know why. And what I've always, what I say being out here on the road, I always wondered, because women always talked about that, and they talked about, worrying about this or that. I would have to say that if something happened in a truck stop, you are more likely to have someone get involved if something's going bad than you would out in the public.
Right.
If something happens, there are going to be 10 truck drivers out there going, what the heck are you doing to this person? I mean, they would, I feel comfortable in, again, well-lit places,
right.
And I don't like going in between trucks, that kind of stuff.
Don't put yourself in a situation.
But be aware of your surroundings.
Right.
That's all I can say. And there are some women who never leave their truck. We have a porta potty in the truck, and if I feel uncomfortable, that's what's getting used.
Right. And I will say one thing, and my wife's 5'10", and so she's not a tiny person, but I don't know if that has anything to do. Yeah, that's it. They should probably be afraid of her, if anything. Just be afraid. But we've never really had an issue. Not to say that it doesn't happen, and I do worry about that. But we generally try to put ourselves in a position where we park if there's a light available. Like right now, we were actually literally backed up next to the light standard here in the parking lot.
And truth be told, I would stop at a truck stop in the middle of the night versus a rest area. Yeah.
Rest areas can be very scary places. And even, we really don't like to park even in a big box store parking lot at night, because when everybody goes home, unless there's security, you're there by yourself. And there's no one around. I mean, like in a truck stop, if I lay down on that air horn, there's going to be 20 people come out of their trucks.
Yes, because
they're like,
not only for protection, but we got to see what's going on, because we don't have any entertainment. Let's go out and see what's happening.
So yeah, it's just a matter of not putting yourself in a bad position. And the porta potty in the truck is really literally a lifesaver. It prevents her from having to get out at night. We can go in the truck, and it's one of those things. When we started, I think we've mentioned this before. When we first talked about this, Judy was just like, I don't want that in the truck. That's just disgusting. I don't, and it's just
changed
like,
my mind.
Now it's like, I would not drive without having this thing here in the truck. It's sanitary. It doesn't take, it's actually, again, here, TMI, I'm actually sitting on it. On top of it has a lid that closes down. It's basically our third seat.
You gotta keep
in the truck. I do. I'm gonna every video.
Every video he's gonna mention it. So you guys can just.
We keep a. Jeff was talking about a cover. He's probably whatever. But we have towels that go over it. We don't notice it. It just looks like a seat. I mean, and it's built to be, obviously to sit on.
Yeah, one of the teams we were talking to in there said they use theirs for an end table.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is.
That's where they put their drinks when they're sitting down.
But it just stays out of the way. Some people have them to where they're rigged up to where they actually go into, like, back in a cupboard, and then you just close it up. So, but ours isn't like that. It just sits on the floor. So. Not TMI. Yeah, I know. It is. I mean, it is a fact of life. What we do, I don't know how to say this delicately enough, but it is not for what we do is not for the
go
squeamish.
Ahead. Go. I was going to say, offend anyone out there.
Yeah, I know I will. I don't get offended, and I have to watch myself sometimes. But it's not for the people.
That's a good word. Squeamish is a good
squeamish.
Word.
It's not for the squeamish. There's some. It's just there are some things, some realities that need to be addressed. When you walk through the parking lots, you're going to walk through stuff that you don't really want to walk through. You have to watch your shoes.
Just don't think about it.
Think about it.
Don't think about it.
And you'll see some stuff out here on the road that you would just go, "What happened? Where did civilization go?" But the hard, cold reality of it is that there are some things here that happen that aren't pleasant, and you just have to deal with it. And if you can't deal with it, don't do this. Because there is some stuff that
there's no pooping in the truck, Jeff.
Just to clarify, there is no pooping in the truck, Jeff, because we use it for number 1 and not number 2. Yes, that is true.
Unless there is emergencies, which thankfully hasn't happened.
Oh, and now we're hitting TMI again. Yes. Okay, let's see. Practice situational awareness and good common sense. Exactly. That is what we should have said in the first place, mechanic. That's exactly right. Let's see here. Nature is what it is. Exactly. Nature is what it is. It's a biological function. How often do you come through Oklahoma City on I-40? Well, we used to go through there quite a bit, but not anymore since we're not running out west. When we went to California, just about every trip took us through there.
Yeah.
But
if we ever start, we're going to have to take a vacation now pretty soon.
Hi, so. Trucking with Mr. Coach.
Hey, Trucking with Mr. Coach.
Hi, guys. Good evening. For you all folks that are here, Trucking with Mr. Coach, they have a YouTube channel and also as 2 crazy Florida truckers have a YouTube channel, and so yeah.
And so much energy. I just wish I could just bottle his energy.
Yes. So go and check them out too. That is. Now we just stopped.
We're just reading. We're just scrolling down there.
No.
Reading.
Thank you. You guys really like watching your videos and everything. It's cool.
Safety wise, well, you were talking about the squeamish. One of the things I really had to get used to, which is just me being, it's just like that little curtain was the only thing between me and the outside world when you are sleeping or changing clothes, or you're used to being in a locked up, well, it's locked, the truck's locked, but you're used to walls, between you when you're in the bathroom and when you're, whatever. I had to kind of go back to our dormitory years, or being in the same bedroom with my sisters, and that kind of thing, where you just got used to it, I guess. Privacy, I guess, is what I want to say. There's much out here.
This will probably offend people, but I'm just going to say it anyway. I heard this a long time ago, and it's basically true.
Don't be offensive.
Trucking ain't for sissies.
It is for women, but not for sissies.
No. Thank you, Ron. I hope if you're talking about us, or you may be talking about Trucking with Mr. Coach, because their channel's awesome too. So yeah, I mean, my father was a truck driver, and so I sort of grew up around trucks and trucking, which used to be a lot different than it is now, because back then it certainly was not, because there was, truck stops were not quite as safe as they are now, I would say. They used to be wild and wonderful places at times, I guess, but not so much anymore.
Yeah,
so.
And I think, I don't know.
Oh, well, thank you. You're talking about us. Cool. Well, thank you for watching our channel. We appreciate it.
I don't know if we've talked about this before, but there are a lot of and I won't say rumors because in some cases they're true depending on your truck stops or whatever. A lot of times people say, well, don't park to the back of the truck stop because a lot of things happen in the back of the truck stop.
Yes.
Or certain areas, don't go to this truck stop. And with truck drivers, we do talk about those things. That this is not one we would go to. But truth be told, over the 9 years that we have been out here, we have probably had our door knocked on 3 times.
Maybe 3 times, and surprisingly, never by a lady of the evening.
Or
yes,
a guy of the night. I don't think it was. I don't know if those exist or not.
Yeah, there was one lady that knocked on the door she was just hungry. Another kid, basically. We were pretty sure they were both on illegal substances, but we made them something to eat and gave them some food. But yeah, we've never had the other thing. I don't know if they just know these trucks are husband and wife teams, and well, maybe that wouldn't stop them anyway. Who knows? Ron, who did your dad drive for? My dad had his own authority, and so he would trip lease with companies. We lived in southwestern Ohio, and so he would take stuff to Florida once a week and haul produce back out. He had a reefer trailer, and this was back in the 70s and 80s. So yeah, he had his own authority.
Yeah, he did drive towards the end. He drove for Dumford out of...
Yeah, Dumford Trucking out of Middletown, Ohio, but I think they're out of business. It was a local regional paper company, and he would haul paper up to Cleveland every day. That was right at the very end of his driving.
Yeah, that was at the end of his career.
We don't go out west. No, we really don't. Not in this truck.
Not right now.
Not right now.
Our freight has kind of changed a little bit out there, so we're just kind of a little skittish about going out there.
We will probably be more likely to go out in the new truck because it is a tandem drive, it's a twin screw truck. We can haul more freight, and so not quite as, still really freight's not there right now, so, but we'll see. Sorry, my service horrible. We were driving in the mountains of Utah. Oh, well, be careful.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely be careful. My dad drove for old companies in the old days, Leeway Times, Transcon. Yep, I remember those.
I didn't get out much, so I don't remember any of them.
No, my dad was a true outlaw trucker.
Yes.
He carried 3 log books and know how to use every single one of them. Literally would drive 80 miles an hour. Back in the days when the speed limit was 55, had CB radios, a couple of radar detectors, and just really, yeah, he would not make it today, but he knew how to work the system back then. So it was definitely a different world.
Yeah.
Got the big customer.
Jeff, we never really lost them. We just lost the amount of loads that they did.
We have not seen anything coming out of there yet. And sorry, this is a private conversation with Jeff and I. I know exactly what he's talking about, and so.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's, as far as I know, Jeff, I haven't seen anything.
Well,
on
there's
the
just,
board show
and there's
up.
only a few deloads that they do on a regular basis.
Right, and
but
we can't see a lot of those loads because we're a C truck and we can't see the deloads.
that's the running joke. We can only see C loads.
Yeah. Preference among top sides. Since the beginning, Larry, we have favored the TAs and the Petros. When we first started out, that's just who we started going to. And then when we started driving for the previous fleet owner we drove for, through dealing directly with FedEx and not going through someone like Expediter Services, but we are leased on directly to FedEx, our fuel discount is higher with the TAs and Petros. And truthfully, for what we do and what we're set up, the TAs and Petros work out better because we'll usually spend the weekends there. And so we build up our points through buying fuel, and then they usually have decent laundry facilities, and so we have just gotten a habit. They're usually bigger truck stops, especially the Petros, and so that's just who you get accustomed to.
Speaking of laundry,
yes,
at the Petro here in Kenley, their washers are only $2 per wash. I whine about this because washers and dryers are all $3 a piece.
Yeah.
And so usually, depending on how many loads you got, you can do the math. But $2 for washers, and they have the commercial dryers where you just stick a quarter in. You can put about 3 loads of laundry in there if you wanted to.
Right.
If you want them to get dry or not, that's your problem.
No, mechanic, no. We are not DoD qualified, have no desire at the moment to do that, and we've always stayed busy enough with our TVAL freight, so no, we will not be doing that.
Yeah, and we do have friends that do have theirs, you know.
Right.
But,
Right.
and we do know a little bit about it, but we don't have
DoD
it.
freight is government freight, and that's all I want to say about that. I feel like, you know,
All you're going to say about
that's
that.
all I'm going to say about that. Yeah. There are certain things that I really just don't feel super duper comfortable about.
I mean,
talking
privately
about.
we could talk to people
But,
about
yeah.
what we do, and that's just mainly safety reasons for our carrier too.
Right.
You know.
Right. We don't want to talk too much, and I know I would really love to get back there and show you guys freight and stuff and talk more about that, but you know, there's privacy concerns and security concerns. I just don't want to get too specific about what we haul, where we haul from, and everything. I mean, you know, I don't like to get any more granular than just cities, you know, and sometimes not even that. And sometimes you'll see us where I'll say we're going from a state to state, and that's about as much as I want to say. And sometimes I won't even say that.
Yeah, I think one of the loads this week you didn't even say
Right.
where we were at.
So
what we were doing, so.
it's just, that's the way it is. You'll understand someday.
If you're new drivers and haven't started driving yet, you'll understand. And those of you who are on, who already drive, understand what we're talking about. So.
Right. So, 65 minutes. We've been on here for an hour and 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
I know.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Wow. We did
So,
talk quite
so
a
we'll
bit.
go for maybe about 15 more minutes, and then we'll get off and go on with our lives, and you can get on with yours. So,
Yes, we really do have to get back on the eating well part of our thing here. Someone asked me today how I kept my weight off, and I really can't answer them because I feel like I'm not. I'm not
No.
working at it very hard right now.
yeah, and the other way. DoD is just.
It's a certification. It's just
Yeah,
an extra.
it's DoD stands for Department of Defense, and so you actually have to have a clearance from the government
Mhm.
to be able to haul that.
It's a government clearance, and you know, and there's different types of clearances through the government and
Right.
the DoD's.
There, FedEx does some of that freight, but that's not their specialty. It's not a very large percentage of what they haul. So we've never decided to do it. Well, thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. You're very welcome. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. Do you meet prep for the week? We usually do the meal prep for the weekends.
I'm lazy during the week.
we
If I
usually-
had to cook all week long, I'd cry.
Right.
But there are a lot of teams who do.
a lot of times we are setting on the weekends. I mean, that's generally we're done on Friday, and you know we'll go pick up on Monday, and so yeah.
Well, let's put it this way: I did a meal prep for today, and it's gone.
Yeah, we
you
ate
know?
it. We ate it.
That's one of the
you know,
hardest
there's
things about
chicken.
meal prep.
We
Yeah.
got chicken. We got the
But
chicken.
we because Jim can't have gluten, we do pizza here on the truck, and so I made some pizza, and of course we ate it before we got on. I like to do the pizza because it warms up good too.
Yeah, and that's always been a concern with us, Larry. I mean, that's why we try to. If you notice, we rarely mention our carrier, and we have stopped appearing in apparel from our carrier. And also, I'm very nervous about posting videos from where we're driving, just because we never know what's going to be in there.
Well, this week there was scary when we
Yeah.
had that video. There
We
was
almost
a
had a-
car in front of
there
us
was
that
almost a
almost
car.
hit the barrier
Yeah.
wall. I'm just like, oh my gosh, what if that would
And
happen?
so that's just something that we're sort of concerned about. So we try not to mention. I mean, everybody knows who we drive for, but we have scaled back on even mentioning that.
Yeah, and just for the record, everyone out there, regardless if you're in a truck or not, if you take a picture and post it, do not have it coming from the driver's side.
No,
I don't even care if you're you know, somebody else is taking the picture. It's just, you know, that just is asking for someone to report it.
Right.
And you know, and
We're very careful, and we never do anything that's unsafe. And so everything that I feel that we post, there would be no chance of anything being unacceptable. But you know,
We
it's
try almost to the point of that we don't share things because we don't want it to come across as
Right.
Somebody trying to get somebody in trouble.
Right.
So, bye, Jim and Kim. Have a
Yep.
good night and
Have a
be
good night.
safe.
Yep.
So
Be safe.
that was
So-
just one of those things that
I feel for the good and bad parts of towns and cities. Well,
we're still not sure sometimes.
exactly. Still
Sometimes
not
Jim
sure.
always goes if there's bars on the window. That's a good indication that it's probably not a good part of the city.
Good night, Larry. Have a good evening. Thank you for tuning in again. Give me a call sometime if you get bored. I know your service ends before you get to your house, but yeah. It was good talking to you last week. Yeah, as far as good parts, bad cities, I mean, you just never really can tell. I mean, and otherwise, places during the day that may be perfectly safe, you may not want to be in at night.
We were talking about that just in Columbus,
You-
where we are very familiar with Columbus because we're from Ohio, so we're very familiar with
Our
Columbus.
rule of thumb is if there are businesses that have gates and bars on the windows, we probably don't want to be there. And so we try to avoid that place. I would say probably 95% of the traveling we do in the country is on an interstate highway.
Yeah.
And usually if we're going into a town, it's going into a shipper and then right back out. We don't spend much time in cities if we can help it.
Yeah, and it's usually during, business hours, which is not,
Right.
nighttime. And there are some people who will go and park at a customer's or things like that. We don't do that very often,
Right.
just not.
Safety in numbers.
That, I guess that's what we think about at truck stops. A lot of people think how dangerous truck stops are, and I'm thinking there's more people around that can,
Right.
can hear us yell. if we
Right.
need to.
It's just one of those things.
We did turn down the wrong way
situational awareness.
one time, or a couple. One time we were supposed to go one way and we went the other, and we got to driving down through there and was like, this is probably not the best part of town to be in.
Well, and our suspicions were confirmed as we pulled up on a bar fight that spilled out into the parking lot that was ongoing as we're driving past. And
Jim was like, if that light's red, you just keep going.
there's literally like 30 people out in the parking lot beating the crap out of each other. And this all happened in front of us.
Outside of a bar. Yeah.
Outside of a bar. I mean, this happened right in front of us. We were actually literally sitting at a stoplight, and the bar was up ahead of us on the passenger side, and we had actually turned down the wrong street when we left our delivery at night, and we were trying to make our way back to the interstate, and all of a sudden this bar empties out into the parking lot and proceeded to have a good old street brawl right there in front of us. And so I told Judy, lock the doors. Someone comes over this way, you go. I don't care if the light's red or not. We're out of here. And fortunately, nobody did.
Yeah.
But,
and that was, truth be told, that was the only time in 9 years that we've ever had to deal with that.
That was enough.
And that was,
That was enough. And yeah, good old Cleveland, Ohio.
in our home state.
Yeah.
But again, we were downtown and went the wrong direction.
Yeah. So we have wasted 72 minutes of your guys' time tonight, so I think we're going to end this here in just a few minutes.
And I know we've mentioned it on our other vlogs, but we are going to try, if internet cooperates, to do this on Saturday nights at 8 o'clock. It seems to work out pretty well for us, and hopefully for the rest of you, because we enjoy having you here with us.
Yeah, thank you. It's very good to be able to talk to people, answer some questions that folks have, and everything. So we really
and
enjoy
hopefully
it.
next week we'll have some more topics other than just rambling.
Yeah, we
like
are
we are
all
tonight.
sort of. I don't know. This week was sort of a little weary, and I'm just sort of. I'm in resting mode.
Is that it?
That's it.
And Jim, I usually do a lot of talking, but I usually on the vlogs, he usually does a lot of the talking. So he kind of threw me for a loop tonight when he's not talking so much.
Oh.
Stop your awning.
I'm sorry, I'm sleepy. What am I going to do?
Anyway, but
So, thank you. Thank you. Glad having you guys here. We enjoy being able to talk to people. This gives us a chance to actually interact with folks. So,
you could have had special guests. I thought about asking
You know,
a couple of the teams tonight, but I don't think they could fit inside. We could have taken it out.
yeah, you just wait till you get back out on the road, Jeff, and we'll have you on.
Yeah,
as
we'll
a
have
special
Jeff as a
guest.
special guest.
Jeff and Denise. That'll be a good one right there. So,
Oh, thank you, Mike, and good
Thank you.
night.
good night, folks. Well, we got a couple minutes left. So now we have a minute left.
Oh, are you timing us? I didn't know
I
you were
am.
timing.
Well, it's like, look, 74 minutes right here.
you can't stop at an oddball number. Is that it?
Drive me crazy. It's the OCD thing.
Now somebody ask a question real quick, and then I'll have to go on for
Nope.
more time. He's gonna cut you off in a minute.
Yeah. So anyway, well, all right, folks. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe our videos and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to ring the.
Notification bell. Whoops. Ring.
Wow.
I learned that in
Yeah.
Spanish class, by the way.
And we will see you all.
Or playing clarinet. I did that too.
We'll see you all.
In the next video. So long, everybody.
Good night.
East St. Louis, Memphis,
Good night.
definitely no overnight zones. Yes.
Orientation Wednesday. Cool.
Yay, Jeff!
Well, let us know
Can't
when
wait
you're
till
back
you guys
out.
get back out here.
Yeah. Let us know when you guys are back out. We'll run into you sometime. So,
And I agree with that mechanic too. You know, East St. Louis and Memphis.
yeah, there's definitely some places you don't want to go.
Yeah.
So, anyway. All right, people. We will see you later. Thank you again. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you
Have a great
next week.
weekend. Bye.